The recent Heritage US Coins signature auction featured some amazing Lincoln cents, and the coins that stood out might not exactly be the ones that you initially think. Let's take a closer look. By 1943, the Lincoln penny was forced to switch from its usual copper composition to a zinc-coated steel instead, a physical artifact of a troubled age. And within that emergency, the 1943 over 2 S Lincoln cent was born, a coin which for most of its existence was significantly misunderstood by the majority of the collecting public. A fantastic example of why continued study is not only crucial to discover new coins and varieties, but to better understand the ones we've known about for years. This one was graded as MS67 by PCGS and sold at auction for $2,562. The 1941 Doubled Obverse penny displays excellent doubling across the date, the letters of liberty, and in God we trust. It is exactly the kind of coin you hope to find when searching through rolls of coins. But this example preserves that doubling in the kind of grade that you rarely see anymore. Frosty coppery orange mint luster, a sharp strike for the date, and nearly pristine surfaces all contribute to the grade of MS66 Red from CACG, more than explaining the closing price achieved by the coin at auction of $2,806. By 1984, the Lincoln cent was no longer struck from copper, but merely a copper-plated zinc, and the coin was being produced, well, I should probably say mass-produced, by the billions. And out of that frenzy was born one of the most popular and unique varieties from the decade, the 1984 Doubled Ear Lincoln cent, where doubling is seen on the bow tie, the neck, the beard, and of course, most famously and most easily recognizable, on Lincoln's ear itself. Here we see an absolutely beautiful example of that variety, graded by PCGS as MS68 Red and certified by CAC to boot for a final price at auction of $2,928. Even within the modern Lincoln cent series, some varieties begin with a mistake so bold that it defines the very date it comes from. The 1970s large date Doubled Obverse is one of those pieces. Though it pales in comparison to the 1969 coin from the same mint, here we do see clear doubling across liberty and in God we trust. And it remains one of the easily the top 5 varieties from this decade. This absolutely stunning coin was graded by PCGS as MS65 Red, and when all was said and done, the auctioneer's gavel fell on a closing price of $2,928. Now, proof coins are meant to represent the very epitome of numismatic perfection. Coins struck one at a time with great care, especially for collectors. But even here, error coins and especially varieties can raise their heads, like this 1971 proof Lincoln cent that displays beautiful doubling on both the letters of liberty as well as the numbers on the date, and will make a spectacular addition to any Lincoln Cent collection, especially given its, well, almost perfect grade of Proof 69 Red from PCGS, which saw it achieving a closing price by the auctioneer's final call of $2,940. The matte-proof Lincoln Cent was born with the series in 1909, but collectors of the day never fully embraced it. Its sandblasted finish lacked the brilliant mirrors that they expected, and by 1916, the mint brought proof cent production to a close. Only 1,050 were struck in that final year, making every survivor a reminder of an experiment cut short. This coin, however, remains as a phenomenal example of the type, with brilliantly struck details and luminous color. Graded by PCGS as Proof 65 Red and Brown, it achieved a final price at auction of $4,270. In 1982, the Lincoln Cent changed beneath its surface. Copper gave way to copper-plated zinc, and the mint's small-date hub created one of the modern series' most closely watched transitional combinations. Most examples were saved only casually, if at all. Preservation was never really the point for a 1-cent coin built for mass production. This is what makes this zinc small date coin so arresting. Graded as MS69 Red by NGC, it stands at the very edge of technical perfection for a modern Lincoln Cent, and the closing price at auction of $4,636 certainly bears out this point. There are a precious few coins that have managed to capture the imagination of so many collectors, quite in the way that the 1955 Doubled Obverse Lincoln penny has managed to do. With its tremendously bold doubling and astounding eye appeal, it is understandably one of the most well-known and sought-after variety coins in the US Mint's catalog. What we have here is an example of this exceptional coin, graded by PCGS as MS62 Brown, that was sold at auction for $4,636. The 1909 SVDB cent is the key issue that entered American collecting almost at birth of the series. Victor D. Brenner's initials, placed boldly on the reverse, became controversial enough to be removed almost immediately, turning a first-year Lincoln Cent into a permanent object of pursuit for collectors. Struck at the San Francisco Mint with only 484,000 coins, this coin is sought after in every grade point, but at mint state, it is even more so. This MS65 red and brown coin from PCGS, closing at $7,015, really wasn't much of a surprise. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch this video about the red copper collection of Lincoln coins right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Keep collecting and have a fantastic day.